All right, back in house with a couple of Pirates here. Guys, how's it been, first of all? Have y'all been enjoying this cold weather?
It's a little too cold for my liking. I normally am a cold weather guy, but the cold and the extreme cold and the wind has not been fun the last few days.
It's a deadly combination, buddy.
Yep.
That's why it's good having a temperature-controlled environment.
That's what I was about to say.
Basketball.
Aren't you guys glad that this is a indoor sport, so to speak?
No question.
Yep.
Well, guys, as we get rolling here, let's just we always like to rewind the clock and then talk about, last week's game, and we talked a little bit off camera. You guys said you didn't really want to talk about last week's game too much, but just touch on it. There got to be something you pulled out of it, a nugget here or there that moving forward, but we can start with whichever one of you guys want to start.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go. So, played Sardis. What else did we have last week? Arab. So, Arab and Sardis. Arab on the road, and then Sardis on the road as well. Arab is very, very battle-tested. I mean, they play in a very tough area, one of the toughest areas in girls basketball in the state, I would say. And playing them there on their senior night, they got the best of us. They shot the ball really well. And just watching film, I mean, seeing them on film throughout the year, I mean, I feel like two of their best games that they played all year have been against us. They'll go games where they won't shoot the ball well at all, and then both games against us, they light it up. So, tough game there, and then we go to Sardis and play them, and, it's going into that game really didn't, other than pride, didn't really matter a whole lot. It really didn't dictate anything. So, I don't think that we dealt with this, but it is hard to get the focus level there that you want it to be when you're going into a game that really doesn't dictate anything when you're talking about area standings and stuff. So, and then playing there, it's a tough place to play. Both games, both of those teams got the best of us, didn't play very well. In either game, we did some good things, but overall, a lot of stuff that we got to clean up, before we get to the area tournament when it matters.
Yeah, with us, we went to Arab, ended up winning by 4, I think. It was a good game for us. We were down a starter, dealing with a hip injury. They were down a starter due to some sickness, so we were kind of playing on a level playing field. Arab, their Coach Cruz does a great job with them. So tough game. They make it hard to score. I thought we did a really good job defensively in that one, making them take tough ones, and did a good job second half rebounding, keeping them off the glass. So it was a good one for us. And then Sardis Friday night. Sardis got the best of us. I think they beat us by 9. Probably the second worst shooting performance that we've had in my 3 years here. Just a night where we got every open look we wanted, and they just were not going in. So there's going to be nights like that. I didn't think we did a great job on the glass. Gave up way too many offensive rebounds. We didn't get enough offensive rebounds ourselves with all of our misses. So credit to them. They had guys make shots when they needed them, and they got stops when they needed them. So we dropped that one, but like Coach said, thankfully that one was decided already for us. We had already clinched up hosting the area tournament going into that game. So even though we dropped it, we're just gonna, other than pride, that was the only thing on the stake at stake in that game. So we just got to make sure that we continue using that one to make ourselves better. I told our guys after the game, we kind of knew going into the season that we were gonna have some ups and downs, and it's been, up to that point, had been a lot more up than what we expected, so we just can't let things snowball now. And I think our guys have responded well in practice. So we got a busy week ahead of us this week, and then a busy start to next week before we jump back into area tournament time.
How good is it to have some coaching moments? What I like to call them is, even though you lose, you get to turn that film on. That's the good thing about losses, and in basketball, it is a tournament sport, and you do get to turn that film on and pull out some things that you can know that's going to help your team. How good is that?
Yeah, obviously that's part of it at this level. You're not going to go out every night and play your best basketball, and I mean any level. You've got to be able to respond when things don't go your way, especially in a tournament sport. Not overreacting in these moments. That was my thing. Like I was on, I'll call it house arrest on Saturday.
Breaking film down?
No, my wife was at work, and I was watching my daughter, and I was just, don't know that I got off the couch.
Real life stuff.
Yeah. So it was. I was just thinking for practice the next day. We were going to sit down and watch it and nitpick every little thing, and then when I finally go and look at it, I'm like, we played fine. We just didn't make open shots. That's going to happen with 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. They're not going to shoot at their best every night. So taking time to just sit back and not overreact to things and just understand that, we know that there's things that we could have done with us not making shots to still put us in position to win the game that we have to improve on and get better on and be able to realize stuff like that. But, not overreacting with teenagers and being able to sit back. Coachable moments can coach us just as much as it can be good for them.
That's correct.
You learn so much more from losing than you do winning, because even as a coach, you tend to kind of look past some stuff, every once in a while when you're winning constantly. So when you lose, you don't have those people coming by and patting you on the back and telling you how great you were and how great you did and all that stuff, So, for us to go through several games of losing and playing good teams and them exposing things that we've got to get better at, it just helps us become a lot better team, down the stretch. There's a lot of things that when you don't play those teams that are better than you and that don't test you and don't push you, some of that stuff gets swept under the rug, and you tend to, as a coach and a player, when you drop those games and you don't play your best or they expose things, you tend to take those things a little bit more seriously at practice or when you're watching film or whatever. So it's not ever fun winning or not ever fun losing a game. You always want to win, but you just tend to learn a whole lot more from when you lose.
No doubt.
Which ultimately makes us prepared for the end of the year.
Yeah.
The talk of the town, the talk of the state everywhere has been reclass and the separation, the split, whatever you would like to call it. There's 100 words. Just you guys' thoughts now that the smoke's cleared a little bit, because you guys do have to face this and you do got to make a schedule and everything's going to look a little bit different, but just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think here we, for the most part, we've been pretty level-headed on all of it, just with where we're at as a school. We've, obviously, I think our area is going to get a little bit tougher, assuming that basketball areas are going to hold true to what volleyball areas are, would be us and Albertville, and then Douglas and Southside. So probably a little tougher than what we've had the last several years, but, I think the thing for us here the last several years, our cross is going to be miserable. We'll be looking at probably Oxford or Mountain Brook or
all them came down, huh?
Yeah. Or there's one more. I don't remember, Mountain Brook and Huffman. Anyways, 3 areas with schools that are going to be really athletic and really skilled and really well coached. So it'll be tough for us, but that's what we've dealt with that here in similar areas too. The last several years, we'd be able to get out of area play, and you're matched up with a cross that's really talented. Especially on the girls' side. Their cross last year was 3 teams that had been to the state finals the last 3 years in a row. So
y'all crossed with that Gunnersville region?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, we played Scottsboro.
Yeah, so
Jeez.
That's just we're going to respond the way we know how. It's just to continue putting work in and still got to roll the ball out there and play the games. So I think on the boys' side we've got a really talented group that'll be back next year. So we welcome the competition. We're going to make sure that we're as prepared as anybody to be able to face it. So we welcome the challenge.
Yeah, on our side, you look at 5A girls basketball the last 4 years. They're some of the best teams in the state in any classification. Like last year we go and we're crossing with Scottsboro that's won the state title. And then this year we'll potentially cross with West Point, who's one of the top teams. They've lost 1 game all year. You can't get much tougher than that, on the girls' side. Area-wise, like Coach said, may get a little bit tougher than what we have now, from top to bottom. But if that's the way that it pans out, we can be still very competitive in our area. Looking at Albertville and Southside and Douglas with what we have coming back, we've been very young the last 2 years. So if we can continue keeping everybody out playing and continue developing, we'll have a chance to still compete and be a pretty solid team the next several years. So, there's several ways you can look at it. You can look at it and gripe and moan and complain and stuff. But as a competitor, just it is what it is. Like everybody wants to talk about it all the time, and I'm just like, whatever. Like because I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever it shakes out, we're gonna show up and compete, and we're gonna get after it and do the best that we can, and find ways to give us an advantage to try to win. So.
This is my opinion. This is just the nature of the beast, so to speak. I said about this in my interview with Nick. A lot of this was done because of 1, 2, and 3A, the private school thing. But I knew if you rip them out, the buffer's gone, and it's going to create a lot of what we just talked about. A lot of schools going, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? So it does make it tougher on everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think there's a more fair way to do it at some level. Like, the smallest 5A school, which we're not the smallest. I think we're the 7th smallest. The smallest 5A school is East Limestone. They've got like 520 something, and then the largest 5A school now has got over 1,000. Like I don't know that that's what you would consider being fair and being in best interest. But again, we're going to have to play with the hand that we're dealt.
I've never understood those decisions. I remember Gadsden City had 1,280 something kids last reclass, and they were one of the largest 6As.
Yeah.
But for since their existence, they were 7.
Yeah.
And they were playing Hoover and Auburn and people that had 2,900 students.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not even half that size.
Yep.
So, I mean, it is what it is. But I don't know. It is what it is. But let's dial back into this season. I know you guys are super anxious to get out of here from the interview, but we talked about this numerous times, and it's factual. This is a tournament sport. Mm-hmm. You've seen teams get hot at the right time and make runs, and each one of you guys talk about what you have to have done to be successful when that area tournament kicks off, because all hands on deck. I'm a Major League Baseball guy, so you'll see managers all year doing these weird little things, but it's all set up to compete, win the playoffs. So your thoughts on that, each of you guys?
Yeah. So, I get excited watching film with our kids because I see the little things that we're doing and getting better at, and then also see, man, if we just make this one little tweak, or if we can do this a little bit better, man, we got a chance to be, a pretty solid basketball team, So I've been really excited and pleased, motivated still with our team because of seeing, the potential that we still have there. We're not continuously making the same mistakes. We are getting better. There are things that we're doing now that we weren't doing 2 weeks ago. And, give us another week and a half, how much better are we going to be, And when you look at who we played North Sand Mountain this week, and we play who's the number 1 team in 2A, and we play number 3 team in 4A, and we play DAR. Like, we got some tough games here that are going to allow us to prepare for the area tournament and get us to play in our best basketball when it matters. So I'm excited to continue to work. We got a week and a half left, and that might not seem like a whole lot to people, but to me, that's a lot of time to continue to work and get better and install things, and maybe use some things that we've been holding on to all year for the right time. And I'm just excited to play. When there's a little bit more pressure. Because I feel like our girls play the best. Like, you go back to the county tournament playing Guntersville, and those type of games, I feel like our kids, because they're such competitors, they play their best in those situations. So I'm excited to continue to work and see us play and just see how we do, when the area tournament gets here.
Yeah, very similar for us. We've got DAR tomorrow, then we got Cherokee County Friday, and then for us, we've got Guntersville following Monday. We were supposed to play them this Monday, but because of weather, rescheduled it to next Monday, and then finish up with Asbury. So, great opportunity against some quality opponents to continue improving at the areas that we've got to get better at. Guntersville for us they're not in our cross this time, but they're in our same region. We'll be northwest of them. They're probably one of the favorites to have a chance to go back to Birmingham. So.
Wallace,
yeah. So great opportunity for us to continue improving at the little things that we've got to get better at. That's what I keep telling my guys. When we're having success, we can't be content. So we've got to still fix things, and we saw that on Friday night against Sardis. And then I get back to the gym, and got one of my players that didn't shoot it well was in here getting shots up at 9:30 on a Friday night.
That's
after
what you want to see, buddy.
So, I think they've responded the right way. So they're going to continue working, continue pushing each other, and we'll continue pushing them as coaches. So obviously still a lot we've got to get better at, and we'll just continue to put a focus on playing our best basketball in February, which is what we've talked about all year long.
That's awesome. Well, guys, what's your thoughts on the Greenland purchase? I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Like what? I don't know.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys sitting in with me. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.